Welcome to Dark Side Adventures, an 18 and older, not safe for work podcast where we explore the dark side of sex, the world of kink, fetish, and the D.S.A lifestyle.
See, we got it this time. We at least got this.
I'm not laying on the floor this time, so no concussion.
Oh man!
I did have to lean away from the microphone, but I got it.
I will take it. I remember last time you were like, we can at least start headbanging to it. And I was like, yeah, all right, we'll take it. We'll do a little headbang.
We'll get there. Yes.
It was well worth it. Oh man, shout out everybody. Yo, welcome back. Episode 11. The second one in the double digits, Coco.
I'm so excited. Look at us be awesome.
Oh man, wait, let's give him some manners. Do you want to do the introduction?
Well, absolutely. Welcome to Dark Side Adventures, episode 11. We are happy to be celebrating National March 4th and Do Something Day.
Yes. March 4th.
A nice little play on words. I love it. Today, we get kind of just a sit and chat kind of topic. We are talking about how Edwin and I met, how we started Dark Side Adventures, and kind of what we're looking for and what we wanted out of it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a lot. I mean, starting kind of with the March 4th and Do Something Day. I've been reading a book. It's Charlie Munger. I think it's like the Full Investment Guide or something like that. And it had a quote in there that kind of like fit along with today. It was like, take a simple idea and get serious about it.
Oh,
so like that was the quote
one.
Yeah. And when I heard it, I was like, no, that's 100% true. Like, people just kind of like gloss over things. And it's funny how today is National March 4th and Do Something Day. So it's like, do something that you haven't tried. Like, we had no clue what to do with the podcast, and I mean, we were kind of fumbling there for a while. I mean, what do you think about the quote, or at least the National Day?
I love that quote, and I think it is a really great. I think it's a great holiday because I mean we've celebrated with the listeners a couple silly ones, but this one's when you can really celebrate, and you can celebrate it on more than just March 4th.
Very true.
But sometimes all it takes is that little baby step forward to start getting serious about some simple idea or start making a change, whether it be a little change in your life or some big change in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And all it takes is that decision to say, yes, I am going to March 4th today, and I am going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. I think that's such a great holiday, and I might start celebrating it every year.
Once every year, be like,
once a
just
year.
do something. Just do something. Anything going on in your life?
I bought tickets to my sister's wedding today.
Wow.
I've kind of been putting it off, but I finally was like, no, I can't put it off any longer. Like, tickets are getting more expensive. It's in like 2 weeks. I just need to buy it. Yeah, I know. I put it off way too long. I get to be the officiant. So I get, yes.
You get to read it and be
I get to do the ceremony and put that together. And I'm super excitedly nervous about it because like, whoa.
It is a big thing.
That's a big thing. So, but I'm super excited about it. They finally got me there because I knew it's kind of how they got together, and I knew like when they got together. I was the first in my family because my sister and her fiance are both females, And
oh,
yes. So
oh.
they, not that none of us knew, my sister was like, oh, hey, can my friend come over? And they like never really announced that they were dating until they posted their engagement photos. So I was, not that any of my family cares. We all love her. We all like, we love my soon to be sister-in-law. Like, we love them both. But they like never announced it. And so I had visited one time and I was like, so how long have you two been dating? And my sister got like very quiet and like her eyes went very big and she went very, very red. And so I was the first one in the family to like confront them about it, which is apparently why they wanted me to be the one to marry them. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. But they finally sent me like their love story so I can put it into the ceremony. And it's only taken like 4 months for it to happen. Jeez. And I kept telling them if they didn't send it to me, I would just start making things up about how it's an arranged marriage and they hadn't met each other. And like, they're like, because in December they went to Florida and that's where they took their engagement photos. And so I was like, they Photoshopped their engagement photos and, they're only getting married for the tax breaks. And like, I was like, that's what I'll just make up. It'll be fine. So they finally got it for me.
Well, so you get to officiate a wedding, and what else has been going on?
Not much. We were gonna do a different topic tonight, and my master was gonna be on, but work came up for him, which sucks so bad. But we decided this would be a good episode instead, and we'll get to that one at some point down the line when he finally has time.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm kind of behind. Kind of missed the show on Sunday due to some of us sleeping on accident. I was hella tired. Like,
I heard you had a great night the night before though, so totally okay.
I definitely had some shenanigans go down. Is a nice way to put it on Saturday night. Actually, so I guess y'all heard on the podcast that like Pooh was coming to town, so I got to hang out with Matt and Pua, and so that was its own whole ordeal. Anyway, I got home at like 1:00 in the morning. I know I was already tired. Woke up the next day, went and played basketball, and I forgot like the night before because like Matt had brought the candle because on the show, we were talking about the candle. So finally, we got the candle for DarkSideAdventures from Matt, thankfully.
Okay.
But he brought it to me while I was about to play basketball, so that was definitely I got to see him twice.
Yes, twice in the same weekend.
Yeah, twice in the same weekend. And shout out Pula for coming through. You already know, like it was a good time. I sent her a message just in case. So we're good there.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. I know she definitely enjoyed herself, but she then like after the drive home, she's like, I feel a little droppy. So yeah. I'm sure that helped.
Yeah, it was much needed too. That's one of the things I guess we were gonna bring up in the Impact show, and we've kind of already brought up a little bit. I guess Matt kind of touched on it. Was just kind of like checking in on people because sub dropping or dropping, top dropping, the dropping in general is a real thing for everybody. So if any shenanigans go down, you definitely want to check in on your people.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. So besides that, you already know what book I'm currently reading. I tried to finish the book that we were trying to have for the book club.
Yes.
And it got taken down.
Oh no.
So I got halfway through the book and I'm hanging on like this weird ledge. I'm like, please, I gotta finish it.
You're like, I need to know the end of it, but
I really do. So maybe I'll try and like search, like for real, search for it on YouTube and do it that way. But I honestly think my time currently now for that is maybe I'll kind of step away from the book club idea just for like a little bit, and definitely focus on the social media thing. I learned how to retweet and tweet. I know for some of y'all like, oh my god, I can't believe that, but like I'm talking about like effectively. Like you can just retweet some shit, but I'm definitely trying to retweet with a purpose. I'm gonna make a goal. I would like some sort of like heavy YouTube. I don't mean like heavy as in like, weight or anything, but like some sort of like heavy YouTuber, um, to just kind of either interview or even like be on, a panel or something. So, everybody look out. You already know. I'm not gonna name names of content creators, but if you are in the kink space, just know I'm coming for you in a good way.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between on any social media, just like sharing things and sharing things with a purpose. It makes a huge difference in how you consume social media and how you use the energy that social media has to put out other energy. I'm not a huge social media fan because I find so much negativity in the social media that like I can see the difference in it, and it makes a big difference. There's some people that I will go check on social media or things because I know like they're sharing things with a purpose, and it's not about the negativity. It's about like sharing the information.
Get it out there. Um, Once again, like you already know how our podcast is. Like kink has been something that has been done countless times. But the way that I feel like Coco and I are trying to approach it is we're trying to give insight, but we're also trying to give other perspectives on the insight.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be more of a, one, you'll learn. Two, like with the panelists and the views, you're going to get, like I said, just a lot of perspectives. Not all of what we say we're going to agree with. Shit, on the last episode, even me and Coco I wouldn't even call it like a disagreement, but it was
We have a we had a difference in opinions.
yeah, on the last show. So as you can see, like I mean, that's kind of how we want our discussions to go. Like, even if we have a difference in opinions, like we're still all here for the same thing,
Absolutely.
So that's anyway. I'm not gonna ramble on about that. That's
Well, it's
that's definitely
I
what I
just
want.
I just want to touch it's something we've talked about before. The whole like your kink is not my kink and your opinion is not my opinion, but your opinion and your kink is okay. There's no one way to do kink. There's no one way to have sex. There's no one way to be a true dom or a true submissive or a true switch or anything like that. And so having these differences in opinion and showing them to you, I think is more true in real life than always agreeing on things and always being, is it symbiotic, but always being the same, because it shows you that if you find someone whose opinion differs from you in kink and how they practice it, that's okay. Just means that you may not mesh with them and you may not be a good fit in a dynamic or a scene. And again, that's okay. That just means that you need to find somebody else.
Agreed. So, with that as well, I mean, that's one of the things that I wanted to, you know, start getting going. And that's really about it for this week. I don't really have anything major going on in my life. Y'all already know about the trade. So once anything goes through, I'll definitely tell y'all about those.
Yeah.
So on that note, I wish we had the button to transition or something. Be like, or maybe that's not the best one, but maybe like Twinkle Stars or something to like kind of throw us back in the memory lane. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, maybe I'll sing. I'll find one and I'll sing it for us all. Just kidding. No, again, nobody wants to hear my singing.
Do a little karaoke.
Yes.
So a long, 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 long time ago, I met Coco, and which okay, too vague.
I think we kind of touched on it before. We met in an online kick chat room for DDLG. It was called Stuffy Castle.
Stuffy Castle, yeah. Shout out Stuffy Castle.
And I miss those good old days. I joined kind of on a whim. I don't identify completely as a little, but I definitely have little tendencies that I enjoy and I love when they come out. And I have found that DDLG groups tend to be the easiest to talk to in the community, especially when you're starting out. And so that's why I joined Stuffy and how I got into it. How did you get into Stuffy Castle, Edwin?
Oh man, how I got to the Stuffy Castle. I had gotten on FetLife and I had seen like just like a couple posts, and it was a post like, "Hey, in the community practicing DDLG, just looking for somebody to go get like a beer with." It was a dude, and it was Mister
Mr.
Mister
N.
yeah, Mr. N, indeed. So we met up and we kind of chat, and he was kind of telling me about like just kind of like his life in the kink community. He's like, "Hey, do you want to join like a group chat?" I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." And so Mr. N was the one who got me into the DDLG chat, and he was like,
Yes.
even if you don't know too much like about the kink world in general, that's kind of like a safe place to start. So yeah, that's how I ended up getting into the Stuffy Castle.
Interesting. I got a quick question for you because I I had never heard the story about how you had joined Stuffy Castle, but I had assumed other things. Did you and Mr. N ever play with his partner at that time?
No,
Okay.
he wanted to set that up to be a thing as well, but now like it didn't happen,
Okay.
and thank the Lord that didn't happen, because he definitely had to swallow some truth after that.
Yes.
I'm just gonna kind of throw this in there, guys. Long distance kink is hard.
Oh my God, it's so fucking hard.
It's hard. I'm talking about like it takes a toll on you mentally and especially physically. Well, anyway, it's hard to do, and then whenever you find out uncomfortable truths, whether your partner's seeing somebody else or something else is going on, like it's just hard to swallow. So, just be careful whenever you do it. That's all I'm going to say for that, because I don't like seeing people get hurt like that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, no, Mr. N and I, we had gone down to, after they had broke up, just as friends, we had gone down to visit Austin just for a weekend because he was heartbroken. I was like, you just need to get away for a weekend. Like, just go explore somewhere new. So we went and explored the capital because I'd never been down there. And so we kind of, we talked on the way down there and over the weekend. So I had like construed a different story than what was actually happening. Like, I just, again, it was just like from things I know about you that you enjoy group play and that you are poly, or you are poly. So I just sillily assumed that you were a third in their relationship at times. So
Oh man.
yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. So that's just
Nah,
where I had gone with the information I had. And I had never asked you how you got into Stuffy before, so it's not that it's that important.
So Stuffy is like, yeah, no, like when I got to Stuffy, I had no clue what I was doing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I was in there listening to people just like say these like, hold on. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. I don't even know what I was saying. God, I hate that.
When you got into Stuffy, you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly. I had no clue what I was doing. I was hearing all these terms and these phrases, keywords, like we kind of touch on the show. I was like, what is this? Like, what are they saying? So I had a nice big Google session then. And so then I see this picture of this blue person. And I was like, what? I was like, who is that? And I click on it and it's like some toes in the toes in the ocean. Guess who?
Was that me?
Yes, it was. It was a blue picture. It was a picture of you in the ocean, and the water, I guess, was blue, and your feet, I guess, were.
I was in the pool.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
was in
There
a
you
pool, not the
go.
ocean. I was like, I haven't been to the only time I'd been to the ocean, I was on crutches and I wasn't able to get into the ocean.
Oh,
By the way, crutches on the sand is a hell of a beast. I don't recommend it.
it was a
But yeah.
real workout.
Okay, so I must have been in the pool because, and that was probably the pool when I was in Austin
Oh.
with Mr. N.
It could have been.
Okay.
Because
Okay. I mean, connecting it because I mean, we had kind of talked before because we had coexisted in the same group. Oh my goodness, all of these things that are connecting now.
Yeah, no, the whole Austin thing like started like coming together too. So
Yeah.
so guys, just for small reference, like Coco and I know each other, but
Yes.
but we don't know, like, you hear stories on stories on stories of people, but you never actually get to know the story.
Yes.
And now we're kind of weaving the story the way it actually is
Yes.
together.
Yes. It's the whole there's three truths, your truth, my truth, and the actual truth.
Yep.
And we're finding the actual truth because some of these stories that we're going to tell, like, it didn't matter. I didn't care enough to ask because it wasn't an important thing. Like, we started talking as friends and we started hanging out as friends and like we just continued our connection from there. And like some of the things just didn't matter. So now that we're chatting them out with you guys, we're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know. Yes.
So then let's see here, going down the story lane. Then you would pop in and out sometimes, like of the
Yes.
kick chat. Yeah, I guess you were like working.
Yes. At that time I was working 3 different jobs. Plus I was trying to be involved in like an adults friend group, like a non-kinky, non-sexual adults friends group in my area. And so I was crazy busy. And I think I was doing was I doing softball at the time? No, softball came later.
I had to think about that. I
But
was like, I don't know if you were playing softball.
yeah, because with that group we did a softball team. And yeah, so I think that was later. But yeah, so I was busy and there was somebody in the chat that I was kind of trying to avoid while still being nice because he happened to be the owner of the group.
Yeah.
So I would pop in around times when he wasn't in there. And so like I said, Edwin and I, we were in the same group and we kind of, we cohabitated the same area while like revolving around each other and not really meeting up.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's kind of weird because like we would talk to each other, and then like we finally actually like got to meet. Yeah, we actually got to meet whenever they did the meetup at
At the pool.
And no, it was before then.
No.
It was Red Robin.
Yes. I forgot you were there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so sunburned that day.
Oh man. Yeah, we saw it. And that was the first time I met I guess what do I want to call him? JSM and LBA.
Yes. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yes.
And then I got to meet a few other people as well.
Yes, that were in the group. Yeah. And we did Red Robin and then we went to the bar and played pool and darts.
Yeah, that was
I forgot that happened before the pool.
Yeah, that was like a fun getting to know everybody. Then we also had like this other person in there. It was like I'm trying to say the names without saying Summer Kitten. Summer came and she doesn't usually show up for anything.
No.
So
and she didn't ever show up for anything after that too. She was like super part of the group, but she didn't ever. I think it was just a really, really, really weird fluke that we happened to be in the area when she joined the group. And we were like, dude, come on over. Like, come say hi to all of us. We're just all having drinks and playing pool and darts. Just come say hi. And she like walked into the bar and like
all timid. Yeah.
All timid. She had like this backpack on and she like was looking around and like you could tell she was nervous. And I hadn't been looking in the group chat because I'm a lot of times I'm not a cell phone person
Mm.
either. Again, the whole, I don't know, it mental energy drains it anyways. So I had no idea. She just looked shy at the bar. So I went over and introduced myself and I was like, hi, who are you?
She she was very shocked, but she came around.
Yes. Yeah. She came around and then I found out she was in the group. I was like, oh, hey, I'm in that group too. Yeah. Anyway, she started playing pool with us after that. But I mean, I miss her.
Yeah, man, I miss a lot of people from that group.
Yes.
But whatever they are doing currently in their lives or the kink world, whatever it is, obviously, like, we wish them the best. But
absolutely,
if y'all ever hear this and y'all kind of put two and two together, please reach out.
Absolutely, we would love to hear from you. I miss you all.
Yeah. So going down the line here. So after we met up at Red Robin, I'm trying to think.
I think there was a little, because we didn't like hang out solo until after we went to the pool. So I think there was a couple weeks, like maybe a month, and then we decided to go to the pool and do like a splash park pool party
at Love Park.
Yes, and you showed up, and tons of fun. It was, I think the pool is one of those places that you can like let your little side out without people like looking at you really weird.
Oh, strange, yeah.
So it was, and at this point, the whole group that showed up, we had been friends and chatting for quite a while.
It's like 4 months or something.
Quite a while.
It was longer than that, because whenever they had did the meetup at Red Robin, I could have sworn like I had joined the group in like June. They did that, like they had the pool thing in like, it wasn't even August. I thought it was like the year after.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
So it was like a good like 9 months.
It was a long time. Yeah.
It was almost like a mini family. And in between that time, that's when I ran the SDR. What was it?
Yes.
The academy.
Yes. SDR's Daycare Academy and his little bus. I'll look for SDR's bus.
I look like Miss Frizzle from
Yes.
Oh my god, it was a good time.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think we explained that story in the other one, but like SDR said, he didn't really feel like a daddy. I don't know if do you feel like a daddy now, or do you feel just more dom and top?
I'd probably say half daddy, but definitely like, yeah, I'm more dom and top, because the daddy thing is like, I have the patience and I don't have the patience at the same time.
I get it. Yeah. Okay. So like, but at that time, like he didn't have a little, he wasn't really daddy, but he was like such a friend in the group, and we would all kind of chat with him. And I don't even remember how the joke started, but I think somebody asked if you were a daddy, and you're like, no, I'm more like a stepdaddy. And so that's how it started. And then like the daycare thing came in, and SDR has stuck.
Yeah, it's
years later.
So you definitely might hear that one day, the SDR thing. I think Pua popped it out one day, but
yes.
Anyway, for the people that know, obviously they'll put two and two together. So
yes, you will. That might just like of tomatoes.
Yeah, tomatoes.
Tomatoes. And a certain tomato sauce. So we had been chatting in this online group forum for a while. We went and had like a picnic and at the park, and went to the pool that day, and then we had dinner afterwards, and we all kind of chatted and we all hung out, and like we spent pretty much all day there. We started at like 11 a.m. and I think I got home at like 9 or 10.
Yeah, it was a late night.
It was a late day. So the whole group of us chatted for a long time. And then Let's see. Did we hang out solo after that, or did we go? Oh no,
We-
you didn't go with us to get ice cream, did you?
No, I didn't go to the ice cream.
No.
I
So
think the
yeah.
next time me and you had like met up was I came all the way out to Fort Worth,
Yes,
and
you did.
that was a fun adventure. I'm not
Oh,
even gonna lie.
that was
Like
such a good night.
that was a good time. So I finally like I don't even remember how it started, but like I told Coco, I was like, man, I was like, if you ever get some free time one day, I was like, man, like I'd love to tie. And then
Yeah.
she's like, oh well, I'm free on Friday. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. I was like, I randomly have Friday off because my job's like I never knew when I was scheduled. There was times when I would get the schedule like the day before, and then but I was just always trying to pick up hours because at that time I had taken in a friend of a friend who was 17. And so I was like suddenly helping support the 17-year-old that so I was trying to support myself, and then I was supporting the 17-year-old, and I was like still trying to save money to go to school. So there I am working through jobs, and I'm like, I never have free time, but I had something aligned, and I only worked my day job that Friday. So
yeah, I mean, I pulled up, hopped out.
to my
And
ghetto old house.
It was still a place to live.
It
Still a good
was.
place.
It was.
And so the tying commenced, and then we decided, let's go out.
Let's go have some drinks.
Man, that had been the first time I had been to like that area, so that was definitely like a nice like eye opener. So I appreciate on that one.
Well, you're welcome. I had explored that area of drinking a couple times, like that area with all the bars, a couple of times, but not the way we did it. I didn't ever really bar hop. There was one time I went bar hopping, but I was definitely drunk. So I don't really remember it.
Well, you remembered this one.
I did remember this one. Remind me one day, I'll tell you about that story of me being incredibly drunk, because it's funny, but not doesn't involve us, so we won't get into it.
Deal. I'll ask about that. Maybe one day. Yeah, one day we'll give the PG version. No.
There's no sex involved. It's just a lot of drinking.
Well,
I'll tell you about it. But yeah, so we tied, and like this was the first time that SDR. Now I'm gonna call you SDR. That Edwin and I had first like hung out solo. It was like a long time. Like we had hung out in groups before. We had chatted in the group. I guess we did DM because I invited it over. But there was a few times, like even in the group chat, where it was just us talking.
Yeah.
And we would talk about rope. We would talk about like some of our experiences. We would talk about like how both of us kind of didn't really feel like we didn't really feel like we fit in the DDLG group, but like the DDLG subgroup of BDSM, but we fit in the group that we were in because of the people. So we had a lot of really good conversations. And so we hung out solo, and Edmund tied, and then we were like, it's only like what, like 8 o'clock? I think you come over at like 7, and we're like, oh, it's only like 8 o'clock. Like you practice what you wanted. We're sitting there chatting, and like the first time we went, like we just clicked. And maybe it's because you're poly and I'm mono. I never, like, we just clicked as friends. And I was like, oh, you're poly. I'm never going to be poly. So I never looked at anything else other than friends with you. But like I said, we just clicked as friends, and like the conversation flowed so easily. So easy. It wasn't at all uncomfortable. And maybe it was because we had been talking in the group for ages and we had become really good friends at that point, and you were SDR. But it was smooth. So like 8 o'clock, we're like, well, why don't we go grab some drinks? There's bars around the corner. We can go bar hopping. We'll go find somewhere to dance. We'll go have fun. So we did. We went bar hopping, and it turns out we both drink the same drink. We had cranberry vodkas all night. Vodka
Yep.
cranberries.
And-
And so I think we played Jenga sometimes. We played some giant ass beer pong with the garbage cans and the like pool balls. It was the college town.
Yeah. Yeah, it was eye opening because I
It
mean,
was.
over here we have something kind of like that area, but it definitely wasn't on that scale.
Yeah, and it's definitely, because I know which area you're talking about. It's not quite college town, because the area we went to that night is like a mile and a half from a college. And so anybody in Fort Worth can probably figure that out. I guess we can say it. We went to West 7th in Fort Worth, and it's definitely college town. It's college bars. Like the bar that we played Gina's beer pong was like University 57 or something like that, something college-esque. So it's definitely different than the one you're thinking over there. Different atmosphere. So much fun though.
It was hella fun. Like,
yeah.
man.
So we played all of that, and then we went and sat in a bar for a while, and we invited Mr. N to come hang out with us.
And surprisingly, Mr. N drove all the way over.
All the way.
And he came and like hung out with us. Like we ended up on like a rooftop bar eventually. Like we took Coco to go dance.
So we went dancing. I love dancing. That was so much fun.
Man,
so much fun.
I don't know. It was drink after drink after drink, and
yes, but at the same time, like, I mean, yes, we were intoxicated, but I don't feel like it was at like such a level. It wasn't like blackout intoxicated. It was like that happy level of, oh, I'm like tipsy intoxicated drunk, not like drunk where I feel completely out of control. It was like a great balance. Because I have issues drinking and getting drunk out of control because I don't like that feeling. But we like stayed under that feeling, and it was just smooth sailing all night.
And
so
and Coco has this thing about people driving.
I do. I have this huge thing about people driving. I loathe it. It gives me so much anxiety. Like,
it was a big deal for her that I drove us to the bar. I don't drink like that. That was like,
and I think that's part of the reason we didn't get like drunk. We like kept it at a level where it was manageable, and that we knew we would be sober enough to drive after some waters all night. So, and we cut off like probably like an hour and a half or longer before we left.
It's like, I don't even remember what time we left.
Yeah. We left at 2 when it closed.
Man.
It was a late night and a very early morning for me.
Truth.
Who needs sleep?
So we had that night. And then what happened? Then I didn't see you for like a good couple months because you had been like working up a storm. Oh, I had gotten like, did I have a second job then? I think
you had a second job then. And then you ended up in a relationship.
Oh yeah. Oh, guys.
And so
that was the episode where I was talking about, I shouldn't say like full on values, but just like not necessarily changing for people. It's one of those things where y'all know I'm poly, and it's just kind of been part of my life. Like the more and more I look back at like what I did when I was poly versus what I did with mono, I was much happier with poly. Like everything with mono, there was always an argue, there's some kind of jealousy, envy, whatever it is. With poly, it was always like relationship, something new, something fun. But I mean, both have their headaches. Don't let me get that twisted for you. But yeah, like I ended up going mono, and I don't. It's not a regret. It was more of a lesson learned type thing. So I can
definitely showed you your poly.
Yeah, and just like other things about myself too. So it's I learned from it. Oh well.
Yeah. We
So
saw each other a couple times during that. Like we saw each other at her birthday party.
was it her? Oh yeah, we did. Oh
Yeah, so
no, I missed you. Did I? Were you there?
We like crossed paths. I arrived as you were leaving.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we crossed paths. We had talked a couple times.
Just
We
to
had
keep in touch.
Yeah. I think we had gone out to dinner a couple times just as friends to kind of like chat.
Oh yeah. That was a good time.
That was a good time. We did we went to the burger place and to ERD.
Yeah.
And the power went out.
Yeah, we told that story.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we're eating at this burger place and the power goes out and like everybody's looking at each other and we're just like, we're like, fucking like, well, anyway, we left because we left because it started getting too hot. And so we're like, all right, let's just go. So then we ended up going to this thing called basically ERD. And so I got to tie Coco again.
Yes. I think we had gone to ERD a handful of times together.
Oh yeah.
It's like the first time I went to ERD, it was still at the Swingers Club.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's where I tied you and Slushy together.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We had gone a couple times, and I think you were with me the first time I went to ERD, and so we had gone to ERD a couple times. Sometimes you would tie me, sometimes you wouldn't. Sometimes we just chatted and watched other people tie or whatever it was. So yeah, we did ERD a couple times. We did the what is it? Chicken Stop? That wing place. Wingstop.
Wingstop.
Because I had never been there.
Had to give her some new food.
Yes, they were delicious. Yeah, so we did dinner a couple times, and then we both kind of went silent for a little while. Like life got in the way. We were both even busier. Drama happened in Stuffy Castle, and I left.
Yeah, that shit blew up.
Yeah. The owner, who I said I was kind of avoiding, had some issues, and I couldn't handle it any longer, so I cut ties and I left.
I left shortly after.
I wasn't sure how long you had stayed after that, but yeah, so it was just crazy. So we both kind of quieted down as we both kind of not really left the community, but stepped back to reevaluate, I think. And so we would still reach out to each other occasionally and do dinner, like we did. We went out for our birthdays.
Yep. True.
We went out for our birthdays. We went out and got Mexican and then had a couple drinks, and we watched, I think it was a Seahawks bar we went to. It was some football game, and I was like, "Go sports ball, go!"
Go sports ball.
I don't know sports. Unless you give me baseball, I can kind of understand baseball because I grew up watching my uncle play baseball. Yeah, I don't know sports, and it was football. So we had Mexican. We went and had a few drinks, and we chatted for ages.
We tend to do that.
Yeah, we do. Every time we get together, including on these podcasts, we just sit and chat, which I love. Like I said, our connection has always been through communication and long conversations.
We always got something to do.
Yes. So we did that. We did ramen one night.
We did do ramen. Ramen was a good one. What else happened? So had the drama. So I wasn't in a relationship anymore. After I wasn't in a relationship anymore, that's when we had gone out to a couple places. That's when we had gone out to ramen and everything.
Yes.
Because you were about to leave.
Yeah.
To go to Michigan. Yeah. So it's funny, like, one person is like single for a long period of time, the other person is like, in a relationship, and then it flip flops. Yes. Then I get out of a relationship, and or long distance, and they moved. So Coco finally like moved up after we had gotten like, I think our last dinner was actually at the ramen place.
Yeah.
So that was, man. Guys, it seems like all of this happened in like a year. This was like 4 years coming.
Yeah.
So
I think this whole year will be 3 years, 4 years,
yeah, 3 or 4 years.
something like that. So, I mean, we would go months without chatting or months without seeing each other just because, that's how life is. And then one of us would reach out and either with something funny or just like, hey, how are you doing? Are you still okay? What's up with life? Let's catch up. And so we would. Um, and yeah, then I moved to Michigan. And then we would still do the same thing. We'd kind of reach out to each other and chat and be like, hey, haven't heard from you in a while. How's Michigan, or how's the warmth in Texas?
Right.
I miss it.
It's getting better this week. This week it's been wonderful.
It was 52 degrees yesterday.
Yeah.
52.
Shorts, tank top.
I turned my AC on for a minute. I opened. I was driving in my car for work, and I have a window in the top, like at the top of my car, but I don't know if it's a sunroof or a moonroof. The window itself doesn't open. It just uncovers.
Oh, it just pulls back.
Yeah, it just pulls back. It takes the screen off. I don't know which one that one's called. So I had that open. I felt the sun. It was amazing. Amazing.
Well, just enjoy it there during the summertime, because you already know here it's just gonna be like Hell's Kitchen.
Yes.
Oh man.
We'll trade jealousy at that point.
It's true, but just then one night
I was complaining about work.
Coco had been complaining about work, and I had started I wouldn't even call it a mental transformation, but my psyche always changes. And I was like, man, I've hit the prime age of 31. I already hit the prime of 30 and the second prime age of 31. And I was like, man, one of my goals or one of my dreams has always been to run my own business. Now I know how simple it really is, but I figured, I was like, man, I really want to do a project. I'm one of those people that I've always have to have some type of project going on, just to kind of keep me busy, or even if I don't complete the project, I feel like my energy still wasn't wasted because I still learned something. And so I decided to call Coco one night. And
out of the blue.
It was out of the blue, and we had talked for a while, kind of caught up, and just asking her how things have been going, and she was complaining about work. And so I was like, man, I wish there was kind of another way for us to just just do something, but also maybe be able to not necessarily make money from it, but just get some type of benefit from it. And then we somehow decided to do a podcast.
Yeah. Well, because it ended up in two different conversations.
Oh yeah,
because you had called and you were like, you need something that will either bring you easy money or give you something to spend your time on that'll give you benefit, that'll make work feel less terrible, or something like that. Because at the time I was doing Shipped, which is grocery delivery, and DoorDash and stuff like that. And so I was like, I can't. I'm so frustrated with this and all of that. So we were kind of talking about that, and you're like, you just need something to kind of focus your time on. And I was like, I'm lonely in Michigan. With all the COVID and stuff, I can't go out and meet people, and it's cold, and I'm just ugh. And so you were like, let's think about this and we'll come back to it next week. And I was like, okay, whatever. You're like, think about something. And my mind was on money, because I was like, I need something that'll bring in some consistent money. And that was right around the point that my so my sister had actually, this brings me back to my sister asking me to marry her and her fiance. She had asked a couple months before, but I had like just looked into like I had just started looking into like how to perform a ceremony, and that led me onto like websites of people who like perform ceremonies for money, and like that's their job. And I was like, holy shit, you can get like $400 or $500 out of 2 hours of work. Like,
Yep.
I say 2 hours of work. I know they're gonna put more effort into like writing the ceremony, and like anything they want to add into that. But
You got to put on a show.
yeah, but I was like, oh dude, like 2 hours of work for like $400 or $500, and it goes up. And so Edwin called me, I think like the day after, and I was like, yeah, that's what it's gonna be. So like Edwin called it back the day after, and I was smashed. I had got permission to drink. I had just bought a new bottle of vodka and some mixers and some like wine cocktails, and like smashed. I had got like a 6-pack of mics, and I had finished those, and because I'd been drinking for a few hours at that point. And I'm a lightweight, so I'd finished the 6-pack, and I had moved on to vodka, and I was drunk. So he called, and I was like, dude, we just need to like marry people. That's all. We can make so much money that way.
I was like, nah, we ain't marrying people.
Yeah. And he's like, I guess I could look into that. It'll give me a reason to dress up all snazzy. And then he was like, let me finish this conversation with my other friend and drive home, and I'll give you a call back. So he gave me a call back a little bit later, and he was like, okay, here's what we can really do.
Yeah.
And
I mean, your idea was good. Don't get me wrong. Like that still might be on the list. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But at the same time, no, it was one of those that I just like pulled out of the air. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and just stuck on it. I didn't think of anything else. And it was just, again, it was one of those, I can make money off of this, and not that it would fill my time, not that it would be a project that was worthwhile, not that marrying people isn't worthwhile, but like it was just one of those things that I was like, yeah, this would be cool, but would it work in my reality? No, probably not.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, here's what I'm really talking about. And he gave a few other options, and I was like, dude, a podcast would be cool. That would be cool. And so we started talking about podcasts, and then we were like, well, what do we want it to be on? And we had talked about other things, because Edwin and I, we've talked about money and stocks. We've talked about like real estate investment. We've talked about like moving. We've talked about flipping houses. Like we've talked about so many other things. And then it was just kind of like, well, what about kink? What about like learning about kink? And we both had our own idea, and Edwin was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, let's roll with that. Let's talk about it. And we both had our own ideas, and we kind of started fleshing it out. And I think even when we started recording, we both had different ideas of how it was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we started talking about what we wanted out of a podcast. And then he was like, so when do you want to record? Because we had kind of talked about recording days, and I was like, why not Thursday? And he was like,
this coming Thursday?
This coming Thursday? And I was like, yeah, why not? Why not just start it? Like, why not? And then like he was like, okay, all right, that's fine. We can do that. And then after I got off the phone call, I was like, oh, I don't think he's gonna care, but I should probably ask my master if that's okay. So I did, and he was like, yeah, that's a good idea. It'll give you, something to put your time and effort into. So.
And that's basically how it started. So realistically, DarkSideAdventures technically started as DarkSideAdventures. We didn't have a name realistically for like a couple episodes. So I think after like episode 3, maybe we finally got.
Yeah, because we had thrown around a couple names. And we were like, it could be this, it could be that, it could be. We had found a few that we liked, and we're like, oh, somebody else already has that name for something. We can't do that. And And then
you had Adventures of the Dark Side.
yes, I always call everything in life an adventure. Everything is an adventure, whether it's good or bad, whether it sucks and I'm going to hate it and I know it, it's still an adventure. And so we kind of took that part and we started rolling with it.
Adventures on the Dark Side.
Yes, and I did. I had Adventures of the Dark Side. And he was like, "What about just Dark Side Adventures?" And I was like, "I like that. That has a much better ring to it than Adventures of the Dark Side. It just flows off the tongue better." And so that's how we got Dark Side Adventures. And from there we're like, we need a logo.
Yeah, we definitely did some research for that. Had to research the logo, then they just kind of came through an app, and then we had a bunch of things. Like you saw us first go with the SoundCloud, and now we actually have a Podbean.
Yes.
So it makes it much easier for y'all to go in and click on things, and it's well updated. You can thank Coco for that.
Well, you started it.
Yeah, I came with
you
the
can
5.
Thank us both for it.
Yeah. So,
but hopefully you've seen. I went back and I've started listening to like the first couple episodes again, just because I drive for hours at a time. I was like, I want to go back and listen to them, and like listening to the first ones and then like editing the ones we have, and I'm like, oh, like the content is good, but that sound quality, oh, so much better. We both have actual microphones.
Yeah, actual microphones.
Edwin is not coming out of my crappy laptop speakers into my crappy microphone.
And I'm not wearing no doo-doo headset no more. So I gotta worry about the sound.
Right. Here. It's got much better. I think we still have a ways to go because I think we can improve. And I know we will. But like just from episode 1 to episode 10 or episode 11 right now, it's been large leaps.
Oh yeah, leaps and bounds. Like, man, just from, I would say even from us, like it's still some structure, even us structuring the show to bringing people on and even almost making it seem seamless. At times I feel like that speaks volumes to what we can do. And I hope, like I said, is the hope is getting, bigger people on the panel as well. So then that way, whenever we do have like a large discussion, whether it be like, 4 or 5 people in total, it'll just kind of feel natural and organic. You know what I mean? And that's what I want it to be. I want the show to be as transparent as possible. That's why you'll hear me list things like coming off of my head, things that we want to do in the show. So at least like y'all definitely, 1, know where our head's at, but 2, if y'all have any recommendations, stuff like that, y'all already know how that goes. So
yeah, we definitely want this to be something with more than just our voice. We want as many opinions and differences in here as possible. Because like I said at the beginning of the show, there's no one way to do this. And the more people we have in here, the more opinions we have, the more discussions we have, the more differences you will see. And the more, I hope you don't feel like an outsider. And like I know when I first started, I kind of felt like a freak and a weirdo for liking these things. And I want you to feel included, and I want you to realize that you're not alone out there. And I want you to learn from our mistakes. I want you to learn from our successes. I want you to learn from the other people that come in. And I want you, even if you, take away nothing about any of the specific kinks, but if you take away that you should always be learning and trying to better yourself, like that's success in my mind. Do I hope you take away from the kinks and like each specific episode? Absolutely. But
I think all of us could take away something, whether it be quotes or, just the stories, references, what to do, what not to do.
How to make peanut butter like last week.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So I guess that kind of brings us to the last bit on where we want the show to go.
Yes.
Oh man, that's I feel like shooting for the stars there.
Yes. I'm okay with shooting for the stars, because what's the saying? If you shoot for the stars, it's okay if you miss because you'll land on the moon, or if you shoot for the moon, it's okay, you'll land on the stars.
Oh yeah.
So one of those ways. I don't remember which way.
I'm sure it works both ways.
I'm sure either way. But I would love to see this podcast grow and have a fan base that is, like I said, of like mind, of continuing to learn and continuing that growth. And I think, going back to what Matt said, that if we can keep one person from getting hurt or making the same mistake that we did, I think that's success.
Yep, 100%. Like, hey, I listened to y'all. This happened, and I'm glad that I heard from you guys. The reason why this happened, and that's, man, like that right there. Even helping one person, right? That to me it's like saving a life.
Yeah.
I'm out here smiling right now. It's like, it's 100% true. It's so true.
I know you've got a huge grin on right now. So do I. But
yeah, as far as like where I'd like to see the show go, the followers are nice, but I want this show to actually, like, I don't want to say start creeping into the mainstream, but I want this show to at least like have it enough on vanilla people's radar to be like, okay, I'll hop in here, just kind of like get a few pointers or maybe listen to some podcasts and, kind of maybe spice up your love life. Because we talked about this without talking about it. At some point, because I do want the call-in show to be a real thing too, for, obviously guys to call in, either share your stories or maybe your quick insight. Like everybody else's, please be brief. Insight on, whether their topic is, and, with that, it just kind of like brings one more of a connection to the show, and, we get to know you as well. But I forgot where I was going with that point. Oh goodness. Yeah, mainstream, vanillas. That's really about it. I feel like if we could get out into, I don't want to say like the full on mainstream, but like I said, like even just being that reference of a guide, like that, we're talking about stuff that like you could get on and go do right now. But I feel like we'd be doing the world a better service. Like, okay, here to spice up your love life, do this. Oh, that's where I was going with it. So eventually we would have to dive into the realm of dating. I know neither one of us are dating coaches per se. So we just kind of have to trail lightly with that, because where comes kink comes dynamic and relationships. Where comes relationships comes dating.
Yes.
Or vetting in kink terms, but I mean they're kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You're feeling the person out.
They run the same terms. They run the same lines. It's just a different term meaning the same thing.
Yeah. So that's the only part that's scary. But like I said, we get in there, like we kind of get known for people. Should have, like, we end up getting big enough to where like we get the call from like Adam and Eve, like, hey, don't mind doing the podcast? Done. I'm pointing at the camera right now. Done.
No questions asked. Okay, maybe a few questions, but
yeah, right. A few questions needed to be settled, but yeah, just a place for everybody to come. You be you, give your point, because YouTube, I think we said this too. YouTube is wonderful because it's a platform for, where I feel like everybody's voice can be heard. But with that, also a problem. YouTube is a platform where everybody's voice can be heard. So
you get the good with the bad.
Yeah. It's all, and I'm sure people call in and have disagreements. Hopefully no trolls, but I can't blame you if you have a disagreement. Hey, so be it. Maybe it's constructive criticism. Maybe it's not really a disagreement. But if you're just trying to argue for argue's sake, miss us with that bullshit.
So I want our followers to feel like they can share it with their vanilla people. Just say like, look, like I know you don't really understand it, but this might help. And I hope it opens some eyes, and I hope that our followers, I would love to feel again like how we felt in Stuffy Castle, how that group became
Like family.
family. Yeah. I would love to have those connections with those who listen and those who want to be a part of this. And that's what I would love.
Yeah. And I know we don't show our faces, but if we do end up getting big enough or known enough within whatever community it is, it'd be nice to do like a live show, like maybe at like an actual like event or something. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool.
That would
You
be
can
super
actually
cool.
get people from just like people walking around, or maybe somebody from that's there, come and do an actual like live like
Yeah.
case in. So
It would be lots of fun to do like a panel or something at like Southern Plains or Beyond Vanilla, or
yeah,
I mean, there's so many BDSM conventions. Those are just a few that I know off the top of my head, but I know those are based in Texas
I
ish
mean,
area.
and a lot of just standard communities have community play parties. So
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of start small there, but yeah, we're just trying to make an impact now. Honestly, the goal right now, and I think me and Coco will both agree on this, is right now it's just it's content, and consistency. So as long as we're being consistent, we're putting out content. Once we have content, give y'all something to listen to, and don't get it twisted. We listen to them as well,
Absolutely.
So
100%.
I know it's not necessarily I like hearing myself talk, but there are times when I feel like I make good points, and there's times when I just feel like I just ramble. So it's just one of those things. I'm listening to the same thing that you guys are listening to. So the same personality, the same vibe, and everything that I give off in the recording and while recording, I get to listen to. So it's kind of nice.
Yes. I get the lucky pleasure, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. I get the pleasure and the joy of listening to it multiple times as I'm editing. And then, like I said, I have gone back and I've started listening to our podcast again. And while I'm listening, like while I'm editing it, like I'm like, yes, this is us talking. But like as I'm listening back to the episodes, like sometimes my mind doesn't connect that like that was us talking. And I'm like, oh, that was a really good point. And then I was like, oh,
that was me.
I made that point. So, and then there's some things I'm like, I made that point, but oh my gosh, that was an aha moment again for me. That was like, oh, that's truth. That hits home way closer to home than I thought it did when I said it into the microphone. And
I get to swallow your own medicine.
yes.
Hard.
Unfortunately, it is so hard.
Hard truths. That's why they call them that. Hard truths.
Yes.
Man. So I mean, just I'm very proud of us. To be honest with you, like I said, we made it into golly episode 11, like double digits.
Yes.
Oh, this was originally just an idea, and
A drunk idea.
yeah,
There you guys get when we said that.
Yeah, drunk idea, drunk side adventures. That shirt will hopefully eventually come. I mean,
I'm going to Utah in a couple weeks.
Ooh, let's do it. So yeah, that'll be a shirt, man. Like I said, just everybody that's listening or has listened or going to listen, and just honestly, just keep listening. It's gonna get better. If you can't tell already from episode 1 and 3, episode 1, 2, and 3, to now, you can tell we're getting better as far as like putting out content. We're putting things up, after we get everything edited. You do know that Miss Coco here is a busy woman. She's not just doing this one; she's also doing, her
another one.
Yeah, her other one as well. So
Tank Justice, which is not out yet. We said the first weekend in March, and it's not going to be the first weekend in March. Sorry, guys.
Maybe next week, maybe she'll do like a surprise drop. Surprise Tuesday.
Surprise.
Yeah, but yeah, that's really where we're at right now. And hopefully get more followers. But in the kink world, it's hard because it's not something that you could just listen to at work, unless you got your headphones in like the rest of us do, where you work outside. but I'll just find a way to, be more organic in the community and get some more people in here. Maybe people throw us some ideas, or we talked about answering questions off of Reddit, which is a big one. I'm kind of scared if we do that because that means we're pulling people from Reddit, and Reddit people, you never know who you're gonna get. Shout out my Reddit fan,
I'm excited
but
for
shout
that
out
one.
at the same time.
I'm excited for that one. That one will definitely be. I think that one may end up being a two-parter.
Oh yeah, a double.
So, but that's kind of where we're at. That's what we're excited for, and that's how Edwin and I met. That's how we got started with Dark Side Adventures. So
and now you're seeing where we're trying to go with the show. So
yeah.
Man, like any
Last remarks here?
Yeah, last remarks.
I just want to say thank you. Both to you, Edwin, for like starting this. I know you and I have talked about it, but like I wouldn't be here without you. It would have stayed a drunk night adventure thought.
Yeah, thoughts.
And it wouldn't be the same without you. Being able to have the sounding board and bounce off each other. I think the listeners can probably tell how organic and our conversation is. Especially I know I edit the podcast down pretty well, but I think you can tell how well we flow together and how well this works between us. And then I also just want to say thank you to the listeners. I know at this very moment we don't have a ton, but it means a lot to me that you're listening. And when we get big, putting it out there in the universe, when we get big, thank you for those who are listening too. I'm so excited to meet you all.
And definitely more to come with that.
Absolutely.
Last remarks for me, same as yours. Very first one, of course. Thank you. I know I tell you, I probably told you more times than you know, but
your message the other day freaked me out so bad.
Yeah, I sent her like a message. I have a nickname for everybody. Like, if I like you, obviously, like I'm gonna give you a nickname. So I called Coco by her nickname, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to say, have a good day." That's
and the only time he uses that nickname when it's something serious. So I was at work, my phone went off. I was waiting for a message from my boss. So I looked at it, and it said "Dear," and then my nickname. It said "Dear Blue," and I was like, "Oh no, he's gonna tell me that he's done with the podcast." And then I like had to open up the entire app, and it was like, "Thank you for everything you do. That's all." And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
So yeah, I mean, I just have to, of course, say thank you. I mean, I wouldn't be here without you either. I know, like I said, it started off as like a thought process, but you kind of know how I am. My brain goes a million miles an hour, and I'm constantly in different places. But
mine too.
You stuck it out for this long, and I kind of put simplistic like organization into place, and it's definitely nice having Coco around because Coco made it more simple.
We both follow kind of the same thing. We both want it organized. We both want it simple. But it's been nice to have you do part of it and then me to do part of it because that's made it even easier.
Yeah. And I really do hope that we grow together, but also like with the podcast too. Like I hope, like she said, everybody that is listening, has listened, will listen, accidentally listen, stumble upon, whatever it is. Thank you. Just know that if there's anything that you want to see, any, like I said, suggestions, like we will take that to heart. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna read all the comments because we all know with those thousands of comments, there's always that one sore thumb that sticks out. So that's why I try and not read the comments, but thank you for everybody that will comment, does comment, whatever it is. Like, if you want your comment to be taken to heart, we'll figure a way to do it the right way. But there's a lot of naysayers out there. So thank you guys. There will be more, I promise you. You want to hit the shameless plug?
Yes, I will definitely hit the shameless plugs. Thank you for listening to Dark Side Adventures, episode 11. How we met, how we got started, where we're going, all of the fun stuff. If you want to reach us, you can find us on Twitter, which is DarkSideAdventures. You can find us on Reddit, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Podbean.
Yep. That's right.
At DarkSideAdventures. I did find out, because did I tell you, Edwin, when you search or when you're on Podbean, if you search our Dark Side Adventures, it doesn't come up. But if you search Dark Side Adventures, it comes up.
Oh.
Yes. So search Dark Side Adventures on Podbean. And then if you want to reach us on email because you're not out, or you have a suggestion, or hell, like Edwin likes to say, hell, if you want to be on the podcast, you can email us at ourdarksideadventures@gmail.com.
Yes. Oh man, thank you for that, Coco. Oh,
I love how you say that. So I just got a copy.
it's true.
So
that goes to show the love, though. Like, man, like I said, we really do want to take y'all's suggestions to heart. So please don't hesitate to email. On that note, of course, you already know your host. I am Edwin.
I'm Coco.
And we will see you guys next time on Dark Side Adventures, episode 12.
Adios.
Bye.